with Bad Betty Press called In My Arms. She hosts events over in Faversham. She is a frequent performer down in Thanet, Canterbury, and everywhere which way in between. So can you please put your hands together for Setara Ebrahimi? I'll tell you when you can start. Woo!
Hello. I am going to use the microphone because my voice can tend to be a little quiet. It's nice standing up here because you feel like, you might be alone, you can't see anyone. I actually feel an immense sense of power because I cannot see anyone. I always like to read new poems, and I think, if I don't have something really new, then I feel bad about doing a reading, but then I think, screw it, a 1-month-old poem is new, so yeah, take that. Okay, so I'm going to read this poem. This is the one I read at the Selina Godden Slam at the Margate Bookie, and it's called Survivors. There is no poetry in a life that was born without love and suffered till it died like an animal. I try to feel as lucky as my family tell me I am for not being war-torn, rather than guilty. How can we be grateful for things not experienced that still haunt? These images of brown people turned ghosts by ash and fallout, the sight of their blood the only sign they're alive, is a cultural whip to keep us on our toes, their mouths silent, too familiar oaths. Amongst the mundanity of life with its bashful, everyday sufferings, space must be made in the consciousness for every worthless existence and potential Einstein that was run over by an ice cream van or had a heart attack masturbating. Scrolling through the news shows me government brutality in my own country, someone's cranium unable to contain its blood. Then a Cosmopolitan article, 12 things about missionary that men love. A reporter recently confessed that women are still having sex in places reduced to ground level and dust, unable to grow. So morbid curiosity for the rest follows, periods, childbirth, menopause. Perhaps someone near a bomb site is plucking eyebrows or rouging lips, like liberated concentration camp victims. In this moment we are survivors. We don't talk about the dead amongst us, or millions of parallel fibres. I have actually been writing loads and loads of poetry, but it's love poetry, and it's kind of shorter and simpler, and it's nothing I can ever show anyone, so it's going in the collected works. So now you have to listen to this other stuff. The jokes never land because they're not funny, first of all, and also I'm really deadpan. Okay, this is a poem I wrote after listening to the Manic Street Preachers and just thinking about, the boundaries in relationships. Everything must go. Everything must go. The trees must be uprooted like pipe cleaners, as if by a hurricane. The house must be swept out till its insides are gone, and it undoes itself. Rip up the pesky turf. Everything must go. Every smile must be given. If you have any strength remaining in the muscles of your face, that expression must be given. The body must be yielded in sacrifice, not just loaned. This is how to live large. Be remembered. Be selfish in absolute kindness. If anyone calls for assistance, clean for them, cook, cry, coo. Give them what you yourself need. If there's something you want to keep, give it away. Everything must go, hollow out the earth. Do not wait to be asked, do not eat or sleep, diverge from the task, you have work to complete. Life is distracting from itself. When I sat in the chapel pew, tartan and pleated in a row, the headmaster said, "If we learn to put others before ourselves, we will inherit the kingdom. This is the last call. After all, we must find a way to live." Make certain no one wears your expression on their face. Thank you. I like to read this one because I feel like it's a good poem, but it didn't make it into my book. So I'm like, I like to still sort of remember that it's good and force it on people. It's called Miss Nurse. For the right price you can dress like me in the comfort of your bedroom. Starch, Red Cross, tan tights with a ladder like the lie, don't worry or cry. It'll be all right. I am the nurse. Working long hours helps me sleep. All day I see my reflection in the irises of lunatics. So close, shared breath. My domain is the factory of body, refuse of life. Like the heart, what the stomach doesn't want is what it can't handle. Blood is one of the prettiest things. So close to madness, one knows all beauty. I sneak them puddings as I do for myself, scoff, scoff, and if I shout or mock, I do so for love. We act our imitation of life like children playing with dolls. The families hate us in jealousy we feel towards patients because of what ignorance supposedly is. Grapple with the restraints of meaning, the strobe, the brain mash, life in a kidney dish. A girl stands dwarfed before a model fetus. I hate tripping up on my words because it's so wordy that I always trip up on one of them, and then I think the video's ruined. And you know, if it's not on film, it never happened. That was actually something that I saw. I was at the Natural History Museum, and there was a little girl in front of a big model fetus. So these poems are literal. They're not really any feat of imagination. I think I will go with one more, I think. And I think I will go with this one that's about an imaginary romantic relationship between Draco Malfoy and Severus Snape. I got this into a respectable magazine. Obviously, I didn't tell them what it was about. Conversation with a portrait. I am not the man, but an echo. Distrust your senses. You made no use of them then. I knew you would come. I know the shape of things, their content, but not their precise implementation. For this I dread. Love was not for us. I knew my heart as I knew duty. You could say I chose all hearts over one or two, but of course there's manipulation in this, hence my suitability for the aforementioned. But you know this. All that remains is the small component of personal feeling, whether it was easy to squash for great motive, whether without it would have flourished or died the usual death for lethargy, stupidity, pride. Alternate worlds are endless. Muse on the immediate few. The dead cannot. If you desire to weep or bleed, yes, I loved you, indulged fantasies of your touch, felt your presence restorative, drank the sight of you every time, how I longed for your body, your mind to be mine. Similarities with your lover in tests at the end amuse, but our differences create hope. Do not come here again. Pity pain, not passing. Remember, I am only a portrait. Thank you.
It's okay, my jokes don't land either.
It's the
But-
deadpan.
That's the problem. Like sometimes you say something in a normal voice, and you expect like, "Hey, see, I'm not saying that I'm the funniest person in the world," and people are like, "Well, I suppose that was witty."